They'll get it, yeah. Those guys. What does PR stand for? They've always just called it a PR, and I honestly don't know.
Way back when I got mine, it was called a Pro 6, so I don't know if PR stands for Pro, but the first one I had.
Welcome. So, all right, so let's get going. So what we're here to do today is we're going to talk about the who, what, why, where, how, when, the points of why you would want a PR and what it's going to do for you. So I have a bunch of samples to show you. I'm going to stop early enough just so that we can make sure we get everyone's questions answered, and you can ask questions at any time. If there's anything that I say that you don't understand or doesn't make sense, ask me, okay? We're on that? Okay. So what we're going to do, what is a PR? Multi-needle machine. So there's a Persona, which is a single needle, and then we have the PR, the 600 and the 10 needle. So what makes them special? Well, those of you that have it already know, but the big difference is twofold. Number one is the free arm, and if I go and pull that hoop off, you'll be able to see that you can embroider on a lot of things on the PR machine that you cannot do on your flatbed machine without taking the item apart. So the first time you've taken a pair of jeans apart or a sleeve apart to do it, you want to come and get a PR. That's how it goes. So there's so many more things that you can get. That's number one. Number two, I always thought in the beginning before I had a PR that, you've got to thread every needle every time anyway. So if you're threading a needle, who cares if it got threaded all at once or as you go? Well, the difference is when you're doing more than one of something, the PR has all those threads that are ready to go the next time, and you can do multiples very, very, very simply. And you can turn your back when it's sewing. You don't have to be right there when it runs out of thread, because it's got the next thread and gets ready to go. So that being said, let's talk about some of the fun things that it can do. And like I said, if you have any questions anytime, let's just ask them. So the 6 needle has 6 needles. It has many of the same great features as the 10 needle. Brother did a huge investigation before they started with the commercial, because they make the gigantic commercial machines, and they studied and they asked how many needles are in a professional embroidery design for a logo. What's the answer? Do you know? Typical number is 4 colors at best. So what did they give you? 6 needles. So you got extra. Makes sense, doesn't it? So that's why they did it. So then they went from that, and then they added the 10 needle for more colors because people wanted more diversity. And with the 10 needle, you have a camera. So that takes away all the mistakes. And if ever there's a mistake to be made hooping, I have committed it more than once. And some of you are lovely, lovely examples. I see some stripes in here. And what happens if you have a striped shirt and a logo that's just a wee bit off? The human eye can see it at less than 1/10 of a degree and pick it up and go, that's crooked, above a pocket top. So with this system that we have, and now each of these have it, the 10 needle has the camera and the 6 needle has a laser. So either way, you're perfect. You like being perfect? No more stuff in the trash can. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about some of the fun things that we can do. I'm gonna put this down and I'll holler really loud, and if you can't hear me, then raise your hand so I'll know to talk even louder. Okay, no questions before we get started? Okay. So, the place that the 10 needle really comes to shine, or the 6 needle really comes to shine, and I'm going to pull this hoop off so you can see the open arm, because there are some in here that don't have one. So with the open arm, you can get anything in there. So these little kiddo shirts, the little baby onesies, things like that, that you can do on your home machine, but they are what I call a vocabulary enhancing experience, because as you try to hoop them, you learn new vocabulary. It's not always a good vocabulary, but you do learn new vocabulary.
But what makes this so convenient is, of course, this just comes in like this and it goes right over the free arm and the hoop, and it's an easy deal. So that's why this is cool. Now, this one I've done a little differently because this is a patch. So why did I do it as a patch?
So you attached it with glue in the end?
So what?
How did you attach the patch? You didn't sew it on, did you?
Oh, I did. Well, I didn't. My 10 needle did. I don't do those things. It does them very graciously. So why a patch? Because some of the toddlers that. What? That's a really good guess, but no. In this case, it's something much simpler than that. The little person that was visiting at my house wanted the patch to go on another shirt multiple times. And so I learned if I just put it on as an applique, I could take it off real easily and put it on another shirt. Oh, I know, I'm sorry, that was really elementary, but it is so true. And sometimes with the little people or the older people too, they want the same thing and they want it over and over and over and over again. So this just makes it easy to do it. So patches are good. Patches also cover holes, tears, deep, dark, ugly spills that you couldn't get out. Don't ask me how I know that. So here's another one. Okay, I laid these out so I know where they were, and then they are hiding from me. I'll find it in a minute. I have another one that is on that really stretchy, nasty fabric. You've seen them, I know. Have you had customers bring you stuff to do with that? Do you know the one I'm talking about? It's a dry fit type of product. So and I don't know that that's a trade name, but it's really, really, really stretchy. And yeah, it embroiders really nice. You just have to go slow and easy. Okay, so here's another one of those little guys where you can just put a little logo on something and it's just a funny little baby onesie, but that made it special, didn't it? And it's a specialty item for that little person to have. So welcome, thank you for doing this. I ate lunch with them. Okay, what else have we done in here? Both of these machines have something that I found a lot of people don't know all the secrets about these machines, and I'll show you more about the machines in just a minute. But this is just a sample to show you the resizing capability. Because resizing is not just resizing. Resizing with recalculation of stitches so that it remains the proper density is important, and both of these have this. So the middle kitty is the original kitty. But it can go up 200% and down 50%. On screen, on the machine, no messing around with anything else. You just touch the machine, tell it that's what you'd like it to do, and it does it. Is that awesome?
Do all the PR 1000s do that?
I don't think so. I have to really dig down deep back because the PR 1000's been out a long time. So these have it for sure, and we can look up that and find out. But is that a cool feature? Because we knew we were going to change sizes. You always are changing sizes, right? I mean, goodness gracious. So I love that feature. So let's take a look. You want to look at the machines, don't you? Yeah, okay. So shall we start with the 6 needle because it's the newest? So this 6 needle has this 6 needle, it's going the wrong direction, has a really cool trick to it. So I promised to talk to you about how you can always have your alignment perfect. So with this guy, this is the newest kit on the block. And I'm going to choose, this is a little pocket chopper. I'll try to stand out of the way here. This is a little pocket chopper of a dinosaur. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set him up on the screen. Before I do that, I'm still in the shopping mode right here. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do yet. But if I were to touch embroidery, you would jump all the way through to the embroidery screen and you're ready to go. Think of the time saver that is. I'm not going to do that today because I want to go back and I want to show you some stuff.
Hey, Colleen, can you
Yes.
stand on the other side of the machine,
I
please?
think
Thank you.
my hoop up while I'm passing by. So, gonna go in right through the neck. And you can, I'm gonna show you my hooping job before I figure out. Didn't I do a lovely job? Can you see that? It's only just a wee bit crooked, but we're not gonna worry about that right now. We're not gonna worry about that. Adjustable arms, both machines come with the A and the B so that you can, there we go. All the included hoops come and fit on the A arm. The B arm is for extra hoops that you might want. There are, I won't exaggerate it, but there are many, many, many accessory hoops available for the Brother machines. And what they've done is they've tried to make them both backwards and forwards compatible. So if you have an older model of a machine, even the new hoops that were just released will work on your machine. Maybe not today, you might have to wait for a machine update. But it will, by the end of the year, work on your machine, I promise that. Is that cool? Thank you, brother, for thinking of that. All right, so let's go back to here. Here's my little dinosaur that I've picked, and I'm gonna tell it okay. And now I get to a screen that has a little crosshair on it, and I'm gonna touch the crosshair. And it wants to know how do I want to line up my dinosaur? Well, I wanna line him up with the bottom because it's above a pocket, right? So I need it to be placed above the pocket correctly. There are 9 points that I can use. So each corner, each middle, and then the bottom. And I'm gonna stick with bottom, and I'm gonna go ahead and touch next. And then it wants to know, do I want to align it vertically or horizontally? So which is the most challenging for me? Well, right now I'm above a pocket, so it will be the horizontal alignment is my most challenging, correct? Okay. So I'm going to touch next, and if you can switch to this camera, to that angle, if it's possible, we'll move it so that you can see, you can almost see it. You see it? What I'm going to do is I'm going to move my crosshair. It's low in the hoop. If you need to come up and if you need to walk up here and see it, go ahead. What I'm doing is I'm just moving this crosshair to perfect alignment with, to perfect alignment. You shouldn't take your finger off the screen, should you? There we go. Perfect alignment with the drawn line on the dinosaur, on the shirt. There we go. Okay, so I've got that center point perfect. Now I need to know about the angle. So all I'm going to have to do is I'm going to touch next, and I'm going to raise it up the angle, and then I'm going to go to set. Oh, the pattern is out of the pattern area. Well, that was not a good demo for you. What happens is it will rotate up, and I don't have my shirt hooped with it to have enough to rotate for it, but it will actually rotate that design and match it perfectly. And if we have time, I'll come back to that. You trust me that it'll work, right? Okay. And the 10 needle has a different way of doing it. The 10 needle has a snowman marker. And with the snowman marker, all you have to do is put this little sticky fella right here. Looks like a little snowman. You just simply stick him on here and tell the design, whatever design you choose. And I'm going to just grab a kitty cat or something else small. There he is. And I'm going to set him into place. And this hoop has already been scanned, so you're seeing him. You're seeing the background fabric that I was working on. I'll touch edit end. I'll touch the snowman. And I didn't put my snowman on at the straight right angle, did I? No. Here, let me hold him up so you can see him. Now, why did I do that?
To show it did.
To show that it's going to come to the right position, but sometimes you can't always hoop something properly. There may be a button, a zipper, a decoration on there existing, and you can't get it in the hoop squarely and properly. So this takes care of all that. You just put the snowman on where you need it to be. The snowman is going to work just like the other one did in that you have the 9 alignment points. And let's get that out of there. There we go. And we're gonna touch the snowman. And it's gonna revert back to its normal angle. So if you've changed it, it's gonna adjust to that. And there's our alignment points, and I'm gonna tell it, okay. And it tells me if it's worked with me before. It says, keep your hands out of the way. And it's now thinking, and it's gonna scan to find it. When you see the red snowman with the red outline, it means it's found it and it's happy. And now it says to remove the positioning mark. Is there anybody in the room who's forgotten to remove the positioning mark? There's 2 of us. I'm confident that she will tell you the same thing that I will. You will never get it out of your shirt. It will break into 10,000 sticky, gluey pieces, and it will be in your shirt forever. Correct? I just tossed my shirt. Anyway, you can see what it's done to the kitty cat. He's at an angle like he's running away wild. But those are the 2 of the things that I find so wonderful about these machines is that I'm guaranteed perfection. And I can't do that on my own. So that's big. Another thing that they,
Snowman at the angle you want.
yes, ma'am. And what
If you
I,
wanted it straight, you would need to have it straight.
absolutely. So what I do, and I did it here because I don't have a garment, but what I would do at home is I would take my garment and I would put the snowman on my garment before I hoop it. Because the tiniest little bit of off screams, off. And so it's just simpler to do it while it's laying on the table, snap the snowman on it, slap it in the hoop. Who cares how it doesn't make any difference, right? So, and I use our PE Design software. PE Design 11 will actually print a snowman. So it will print your design with the snowman embedded on it. So you can actually take your design and tape it wherever you want it to be on your garment, and then just let the machine go. It'll find the snowman and align it. It'll be perfect every time. I'm not lazy, I'm efficient. There's a thin line. It's a real thin line. So I bought this thick piece of leather because sometimes people will ask me, can it do thick things? And this rigid leather, fairly rigid leather, is an answer to that question. So this is at least a 2.5 millimeter piece of leather, and it had absolutely no at all doing this. So what's the thing that you have to be careful with when you're doing leather? There's a pitfall. There's always a pitfall. There's a pitfall. Nope, doesn't break a needle. Not a problem at all, but thank you for thinking of it. No. Yeah, you don't want to hoop it so much. You're going to sticky paper for sure. Okay. Nope. Here's the pitfall. What does leather do if you poke too many holes in it?
Cuts it out.
You will have a cutout. It will cut out your design for you. So don't go with the high density design. Control the amount of stitching. You probably can't really, I'll try to get closer to the camera. Can you see the density in there? The density on this is turned way, way, way down low so that your eye sees the color, but the needle didn't damage the leather. Make sense? This is a trick that you can use on all of your sensitive or fragile fabrics. This is less stiff. It's very, very easy to do in the softwares. I use our PE Design. It's very, very easy to do that and turn that down so that you can do these types of projects. Cool deal, huh? All right, let's move on to something more fun. Boots. Do y'all wear Ugg boots down here? Yeah, I thought so. First time I saw Ugg boots, I was in California and it was July, and I'm thinking, really? But it's because of
once a year.
yeah, you need them one day a year. You need it. So what I found out is they're real easy to do. Can you even imagine what someone would pay to have their initials embroidered on an Ugg boot? Because a lot of you, I mean, we're here at a trade show. I speculate that some of you are thinking about or are already in a business. Yes? Even if you aren't, I found this little secret out a long time ago. Took me a while, but I figured I'll tell you the story. My husband came home from a day out with his best friend one day, and he said, he's looking pretty sad. He said, do you remember what we gave Tom's daughter for a wedding? Which was like 5 years ago, you know, and I'm like, yeah. Can we do it again? Yeah. So what happened is, we got invited to the wedding so she could get the gift her sister bought. We don't even know this child. We're invited to the wedding because she wants the wedding gift. Go figure. So it was at that point that he recognized that my embroidery addiction, habit, hobby, was worthwhile. And he then realized that in all actuality, we haven't bought a gift in decades because I make them. And a lot of times, my neighbor went away to college. I made her a set of towels to have at college in her college colors. So she's graduated now. She and her fiance are walking down the street and we're talking, and she said, I still have my towels and I love them. And he looks at her and he goes, that set of towels? It's like he knows that set of towels. She said, yeah, she made them for me when I went to school. These gifts are treasured, and we're not gonna admit how long that set of towels took us to do, are we? We just keep that our little secret. So there's lots of ways to make money with your machine, and this is, trust me, this one is easy, easy peasy. What do you
Tell us how to do it? Did you
What?
do it reverse embroidery or
No, it's just straight on that boot.
you just flat?
I just
Flat out open.
I just opened up.
Then like a stocking, a Christmas stocking.
You can get inside a Christmas stocking pretty good with the right hoop.
Okay.
Have you tried the sleeve hoop? Okay, another story. So brother calls hoops. I'll tell you this about brother, because you'll see this advertising. They'll say the sleeve hoop or the shoe hoop or the whatever hoop. So here's the deal. Brother names a hoop when they're thinking about the engineering for it, right? So a sleeve hoop was engineered to do what? Sleeves, duh. What do I use it for? Everything. It's my favorite hoop. Baby onesies down the front, pants legs. I use it for 1,000 different things. But its official name, if you went to look for it, is the sleeve. So I had to bring a sleeve so you could see how the sleeve hoop worked. So it's a long, skinny hoop that slides right down inside of a sleeve, goes right down the left pair of jeans. It goes on all kinds of baby garments. I mean, oh my goodness, I use it all the time. So just because they say it's a shoe hoop, use it anywhere you think it'll work. Now, the letters are applique letters, and they're done with genuine leather, which makes this a much more expensive shirt because it's got football textured leather on it. You can't buy that at the fabric store. So things like that, a little touch like that, you've got the applique letters in your machine. They're right on the screen of the machine. Is that handy? All right, let's get rid of this guy. What else have we got in here? So, if I hold this up, can they see that? Can you see my handwriting? Yes? I should have done it in a brighter contrast. But this is just a little zipper bag. They're awesome gifts. There has never been a human being alive that doesn't love getting this as a gift.
You can put it in front of this camera if you want to bring it closer to these two. And I can zoom in on that.
Okay, so I just wrote in my own handwriting on the screen.
So you can
And
see.
I can get my head out of the way.
Oh. There we go.
Did I get it? It's hard. I'm going to show you on the screen because it's simpler. So I'm going to get rid of this. This machine has a program called My Design Center. It is a digitizing program where you can create things of your own. I have a bunch of samples to show you. There's a bunch of things that you can do with it, but I need you to see how easy it is. So let me get rid of this background here. I'm going to turn it off so you don't have to see the background.
Colleen, if you could just scoot over to the left just a little bit.
She's always trying to move me
Sorry.
around. Do you see it? There. There we go. Now I'm going to go to My Design Center. There's all kinds of tools here. There's all kinds of shapes here. You can have shapes. You can have drawings. You can have all kinds of things. This would bring in something from your machine if you had a design that you wanted to add to. There was a design that you purchased, but it needed more stuff. You can actually take an outline of the design and bring it in and then add stuff all around it, including quilting. Is that cool? But let's go back here. We're going to go back here, and I'm just going to write with my magic pencil, and I'm going to write my name on the screen. Now, in my own handwriting, I can, and I can add quilting to this. I can do all kinds of things, but I just want to show you this fast. So I'm going to go to next. There's the screen. There's my name. It's in a satin stitch. I'm going to touch set. Okay. And that's an embroidery file ready to stitch. So you can draw and design if you wanted to scan, because I have the drawing ability of a gnat. They give you a scan mat. And on this scan mat, which attaches to your machine, you have the ability to put on, this happens to be a coloring book page. Now don't take a coloring book page and color it and try to sell it as your own artwork, because that'll get you into trouble. But for your own things at home, you can do this very easily. Now, if you buy a coloring book and it's on that really crummy paper, right? Well, how's that going to scan? Really crappy. So garbage in, garbage out. So if you're going to use a coloring book to make your designs for yourself, for your personal use, then go ahead and scan it, or I'm sorry, print it on white paper. You know how to do that on your printer. Print it on white paper, and when you come through, the scan will be much cleaner and prettier and easier to work with. Does that make sense? It's one extra step, but it saves you so much time in cleanup because of the quality of the ink that you get in those coloring books. But that's what this guy is. He's just a coloring book page that was printed on white paper. Now let me show you what he looks like stitched out. I have a bunch of these because these are addictive. So here he is, stitched out. Here he is stitched out and filled in with quilting around him. And I'll go a couple more because there's some more fun stuff in here. This is a piece of fabric. This is the embroidery file.
That was done on the
Yes,
machine.
ma'am. This was done on the question. This was done on the machine, and yes, it was.
It's an auto digitize.
It is. I put it in My Design Center. You put the fabric in the hoop or on the scan mat, doesn't matter. Something where it's not going to move or shift. It brings the image up and translates it into colors. If you're not impressed, you should be. So then I have some other ones. This is a quilting pattern that I created. I'm a quilter. I do a lot of hand quilting. Seriously, I do. But gosh, this is so fast. This is so fast. Now, I did this one so you could see that her little eyes and everything are perfect. This one is the Tree of Life. And I'm flipping through here pretty fast. Here it is in color. And here it is in just a black and white outline.
Did you go in design center and add the color?
I did. It's very difficult. You touch the color panel that you want, and then you touch the picture. And it floods the area.
So you have to specify fill or.
You can specify fill or texture. There's different textures. There's different colors. Sometimes I don't want the color, and I wish I had brought that. I have a fish where I did different, the same color, but I changed the direction of the thread. What happens when you change the direction the thread is sewn in, do you know? It's a completely different shade. So if I have a design that's a big design and I want to add interest to it, I'll just draw a little skinny line down there to separate it into a separate area. And I won't have that line stitch, it just becomes a barrier. And I'll have the thread go this direction in one and this direction in the next. And the human eye sees it as two colors.
So does the machine come with software too? Like for your
The
computer?
software that I'm talking about right now
Yeah,
is
it's in the
included,
machine.
is on the machine.
But do you get separate software as well?
You could,
But it's an add-on.
it's an add-on. If you were to buy it here at the show, it would be one of your choices that you could have as an add-on.
Is this the machine running with the 1050? Is this still on the 1050?
Some, but not all of this is on the 1050.
What about that?
The 6 needle does not have the drawing program at all, the My Design Center. It has the really sweet placement, but it doesn't have the My Design Center program.
Colleen?
Yes. It would be a software program. And yes, we have separate software programs that are separate.
We're just getting a request to move your microphone up just slightly. Oh, yeah, there you go.
How's that? Is that
Better, thank you.
Sorry. Yes. Unfortunately, I do not know the comparisons. So I know they all have names, but I don't know what their names are. So I can see if I can find out later. What else was I going to show you? There was another one in here. Oh, I know, the carousel ponies. So there was a bunch of carousel ponies, and this is one of my favorite samples because I just did one in red work. Because everybody loves red work. And then we have a filled pony. And again, it's the same thing. It's just touching it and it fills it. You can control the direction the thread stitches. You can control your colors. You have complete control. It really, really is an amazing program with what it has crammed into it. And you can, there's a bunch of quilting background stitches. So if you're a quilter, you have a ton of quilting background stitches. The 1055 also has quilting borders. So you can make them larger or smaller. Here's a small one that I did. You can range them in size from, I think it's about 4.5 inches to 108. So 108 takes you up to a king size quilt. So you could do, and you just do whatever you want. And it has 2 modes. It will step you through it automatically, where it's doing all the alignment for you. You just have to touch the screen. Or you can do it as an independent and you just get the parts and put them together. You know which way I do it every time, don't you? Yep. So this is another feature. This is a design that is on the 6 needle. And what you have the ability to do is to just go in and delete a color. So I took, this is the design. This is the original design right here. And then I deleted one color, deleted a second color, and I deleted a third color. So now I have a winter tree. So it's very simple. Both machines have that feature. So you have the ability to just get rid of a color. Is that cool? So you can completely, I mean, look at this, look at the 4 lives of this design right here. You can really get a lot of mileage out of a design, or maybe there's a design that has a bunch of trim on it that you don't like. Just delete it. And to be able to do that right on the machine screen is just absolutely phenomenal. So this is another one that was done. Guess where this was done? 10 needle in my design center. So my grandson entered 1st grade, and we were there at Christmas time, and I took his homework. I said, honey, can I have your homework? And he was like, yeah, sure, you know, silly grandma. And I took it home, and this is what I turned it into for him. And then when he came to visit, he came in and he walked in the bedroom and he went, 1st grade homework. And I was like, yeah. So it was important to him. He remembered. Is that fun?
Mhm.
When you drew, how did you draw? What screen?
I scanned this one. I didn't draw. There's no way I could draw his handwriting. I'm not
You
that
drew
good.
your name.
Oh, when I drew my name, I just went into my design center and picked up the drawing tool and drew my name with my, as the kids say, my finger. So there's just so much you can do with this head. So this little fella, I love to show this because it's a real challenge to do. This is a monogram, right? Not. So I just went inside the zipper pocket. Well, now I can't tell you everything. Then you would all know my secrets. It's one of the hoops that uses sticky paper, and you just put this in and stick it to the sticky paper.
And the bobbin case fits in there enough to?
The bobbin case is below. I mean, this part here, let me pull this shirt off for just a second. This literally is,
That's what I mean.
yeah,
That's what I mean.
But you had to use a special, like a sleeve.
I used a specialty hoop, I absolutely did.
Like
But
Durkee.
remember what I
7.
said, just because they called it a sleeve hoop or a shoe hoop, doesn't mean a thing, right?
Right.
The shoe hoop is one of my best friends. I use it for everything I can think of. I've done cuffs on coats. I've done all kinds of things with the shoe clamp.
So you recommend we get a shoe hoop over a sleeve hoop?
Oh, I can't recommend that.
Like, which one do you use the most?
Me personally?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be the sleeve hoop. Hands down winner for me.
Sleeve hoop.
But when you need the shoe clamp, it's nice to know that you can get it. And it's nice to know that you can do all these things with it, don't you think? So the nice thing is here that some of these clamps and hoops have been around for a long, long time. And so you know you're going to be able to use it for a long, long time. Brother has worked very hard at making the continuity so that you have the ability to use those items, which makes sense, doesn't it? But not every company does that, so I really appreciate that they do that.
Do you have sleeves?
I do not have a sleeve hoop with me, sadly.
Got all day long.
It's 3 by 8 or 3. Oh, you're already Googling it. Was it 3.5 or 3 1/4 by 8? Does it get the dimensions? 3 by 8. 3 by 8. Oh, see. Love that hoop. I use it for a lot of things. Okay, now this little fella right here. How are we doing for time? Oh, good. We're pretty good. I said I would promise to stop in 2 minutes. So this little fella right here. It says Crab Crew on it for those of you who can't read that far away. And here's the story that goes with this. My husband and I were taking our grandson to a very crowded beach with a family beach trip. My entire family goes. They've never seen this grandchild, who's obviously a toddler. He's a high energy, super active toddler. And I had thoughts about losing him in the crowd. They weren't good thoughts. So I made us matching t-shirts. Grandma and Grandpa and this kid had a matching shirt. I went for the subtle color because I thought it would be nice at the beach. So here's what happened. We drive into our favorite restaurant. We are just pulling in and a bus pulls in. That restaurant can't seat that whole bus at once, or if they do, everybody else is gonna have to leave. So I know we're in trouble. My husband literally says, stop the car. He gets out, beats feet into the restaurant. Now, it takes a minute. You gotta get the kid out of the car seat. You gotta get the windows rolled down because you got two gigantic dogs in the back seat. So it takes a minute to get everything secure and steady. And now I come walking out of the car with the toddler to the restaurant. It is packed. We can't even get up the steps to get to the restaurant. It's just packed. It's a sea of humanity. So I'm standing back there going like this. And the lady at the top of the steps, 7 steps up or whatever, she's the one who controls the door, people coming in and out. And she looks at me, looks at them. She goes, people, stand aside. Step aside. Scoot over. Grab your Grab her. Your placement's seated. Come on. Step aside. Let her through. You know what I didn't think about at the time because I was like, oh man, I'm running with this kid. She needed to clear the steps. For fire safety, it's the only way in and out of the building. She used me. But it was fun. And so the advantage of having a t-shirt like this is that your grandkid doesn't get lost at the beach. No, it's just, they're fun. They're fun to have group or team shirts. It's always like an award to have a team shirt, a team cap, or whatever. A thank you. Some of you I know may be interested in making money with this. Definitely this is possible. But don't lose sight of the fact that even if you never made a penny from it, which is not going to be the case, you will have paid for it with all of the gifts that you make and give. Because we have not purchased a gift, like I said, in probably 20 years. So with that being said, what questions do you have? There's lots more I can show you on the machine. Yes?
When it scans and when it scans the fabric, and you don't want to see it on the fabric, so you have to do all the steps to get rid of the background fabric?
No. So her question was, because you probably can't hear her because she's not loud like me. If I've scanned it and I want to get rid of that background scan, and do I have to delete it?
Right.
No, I can turn it off. That's what I did with
Well,
this.
right, but you have to go through like all of there's not just one single button that I'm.
Oh, there
missing.
is. There is one single button.
Okay.
It's a secret one. I might could show you. So you're just gonna go back in here to where
The settings and
you're gonna go into settings,
you just have to go back.
and what you do, let's see if I can find out what page it's on without.
Sorry. guys.
So here's my scan. I think I deleted that one, but if I didn't, I can turn it on and it would come back. Whoops.
Okay.
I did delete that one. But
You just have to go back to
Yeah.
settings. Okay.
so it's on page 4. Yes, I share well. Any other questions?
You said this machine is newer.
Yes, ma'am.
They have the same features though, as far as software and everything?
Well, this one has the ability to draw and design and create your own embroideries. This one does not have that.
Oh, that one does not. Okay.
No. So there's a difference here. This has the camera capability and the ability to add, like I said, all the drawing and creating, and this one does not have that. You would need software to do that on this one.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so Going back to the 1050,
Sure.
I have that scan
Matt?
max.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted for someone else.
Okay. And you probably didn't know what happened, did you?
And what's it for? We can't do the memory.
It can.
Okay.
Yeah, if you got the ScanNCut with a 10 needle, you probably got a 1050.
I'm to
Okay, so what may have happened is they may never have installed it, and so you may not see the icon on the screen to tell you that the program is there.
okay.
So with the 1050, it didn't pop up immediately. So the first time you put that ScanNCut into place and screw it down, that program will auto load and you'll see it. It's there, you just may not see it.
But what do you do with it? When you do everything that you said?
Uh-huh.
So I can write my name?
Uh-huh. You can do a lot more than what I showed you.
Can I do a logo?
Uh-huh.
So I can take other people's logo and just pop it in there.
So when I'm doing a logo, I would scan it and then work, because I would then have the scan on my screen, I could put the colors in. Yeah, no, it's a great tool. It's like having
That's why I was
some,
asking, because you said it didn't have, what is that, the thing called? The software.
my design center, the one that's built in. You could have it, and if you got the ScanNCut, for sure you have it. But what happened with those is that it wasn't activated to show up on the screen until the first time you attached that mat. So if they never attached it, you would not see the icon. If that makes sense? It didn't to me, but it all works.
It's like a feature.
Oh, it's an amazing feature. When they brought this out, I was kind of like, you're kidding me, right? You're putting serious, like real digitizing on the screen. Yes.
I thought it was a real.
Okay. If you do whatever design that you're gonna do, you know, like scanning or whatever.
Whatever, sure.
Whatever. Can you put it on a jump drive and take it to like another machine? You can?
So if you drew and designed, one second, if I draw and design and I've created something wonderful here, and I actually need to run it on 2 machines because I'm really busy right now, I can just save that out to a USB. It comes out in a different format. It comes out as a PHX, which makes no difference to your machine. So you just take it right off of this and you just walk right over here and you plug it into this. And this guy goes, yeah, I know what to do with that. It'll be in your B pocket folder.
You could bring it to like a PR 1000E that doesn't have,
Hey, could I do that? Could I hook my computer up to that one? Could I
You can hook
transfer
your
it back to my computer, or you can only go from computer to the machine?
No, you can go from computer to, you can go from machine to computer.
That one you can hook 10 machines up
This one can
together.
hook 10 machines at a time. So if you want to start your own sweatshop, you're good for that. This one is Wi-Fi capable or wireless LAN, so you can actually send it from your computer directly, and it's like that, and I'm not exaggerating. I was sitting, further away than they are, and I sent the first design to this, and it went ding, and I didn't have my finger off the button yet. And it was already on the machine. So it's
So
like,
it's Bluetooth.
it's not Bluetooth, it's LAN. It's wireless LAN. But it's very, very, very fast. So it's really cool. Any other questions?
Is that something
The 680 also has, the 680 has that. It's the
But we
true
can-
LAN, it's really
We can talk
fast.
about it after.
But what about
1055?
the 1050?
The 1050, you can use USB and you can use cable, but you can't, it's still LAN.
It doesn't have the-
Any other questions?
We had a question if we were going to talk about pricing, and
Oh,
I can talk about that, but I have to turn the cameras off first.
Are we
So first
talking
can-
about item pricing or are we talking about?
machine.
We can't talk about machine pricing. We can talk about item pricing. Do you want to talk about that?
We'll talk about that.
Okay. How much time do we have? We've had
We're
enough time.
good. Yeah.
Okay, so for item pricing, how much do you charge? Well, first of all, there's some kind of rules of thumb involved. Number one, what would you pay for it? Number two, if you know anybody else in the area, what would they pay for it? You're probably doing custom things, so it's a little bit harder to judge. You have to think about, do you want this person to come back? Make sure they get a good deal, right? Make sure you're covered. But then make sure that they're getting a good enough deal that they're gonna wanna come back to you, if that makes sense. Okay. So, let's see. The way I usually do pricing, because pricing varies greatly throughout the country. I cannot be the person to tell you what to charge here because it's different than it is in another part of the country. So what I usually do is ask you what you would pay for a specific garment, like a pocketed polo shirt with a logo on it. What would you expect to pay for that? Come on, be brave. What would you expect to?
$10.
How much? $10 for a pocketed polo with the logo on it?
About 28,
Adult. Adult.
Like the whole shirt?
Yeah, you're getting the shirt. You're getting, they bring you nothing. You're going to the store, you're buying a polo shirt with a pocket on it. How much would you pay for that shirt?
About $30.
About $30. That's a fair price. What would you expect to pay for the logo on it?
Well, it depends on the stitches, but, if they brought a blank shirt and wanted the logo on it, I would probably expect to pay about.
Think about the effort in doing it.
Yeah.
So,
How big is it and how many different colors?
okay, those are all fair questions, but here's kind of the rule of thumb. Here's the way to think about this. If you're doing this for a business, which it seems like some of you are going to, first of all, I don't want them to bring me anything ever. Because they'll tell me it's a brand new shirt and then I'm wondering why it has stains on it. They're gonna say, who did that embroidery? Oh, and they use your name and there's a shirt with a stain on it. No. I much prefer to provide the shirt. So if I provided the shirt, let's say they went to Penny's and they bought a polo and they paid $39 for a good polo, right? Let's make it easy, $40 for a good polo. Does that sound pretty reasonable? What is my wholesale cost for a good polo? Less than that, right? So if I provide the shirt, I've made money on the garment. And then I charge them a fair price for the embroidery. They're thrilled to have that happen because they did not have to go out in the heat wave or the rain or the whatever. And I'm buying from a wholesale supplier, so I'm getting top quality that lasts a long time and looks great. So they're happy to do that. So that's kind of how I look at it. Does that make sense?
Do you have a source that you can get one or two shirts in a certain size, or do you have to buy
Right.
50, you know?
Yeah, minimum.
Most all of the big houses, and I was trying to think last night of, there's a ton of them out there. I can only think of one. But they're,
SMS activewear.
okay, she's one. Most of them will always let you buy a couple of items. They'll charge you more for shipping than if you bought 100.
Yeah.
But they'll still let you buy 2 or 3 items. In fact, that's what I recommend. If you're gonna start buying from somebody, buy 2 items or 3 items to see how is their service, how is their quality, how long did it take me. I have an item I bought 6 years ago. I don't have it yet. I'm reasonably confident I've lost my money, but that was a test for that company. They got no more of my business, did they? All right. I think there were questions about machine prices, and that is a Barbara question.
Okay, so I'm gonna end the broadcast.
Please do.
Okay. It'll take me just a second. Let's see.
She's gotta kill this, be my.
Do I need to kill this?
Yeah, thank you, that would be awesome.